Okay, so the claim I'm responding to is that a tournament system is more economical for NCAA football than a bowl system. So he had three secondary claims. Losses occur due to teams participating in bowl games. More games create more revenue for schools. Distributing money from tournament play creates competitive equality without leaving schools with nothing. So first I'm going to be talking about his third claim, that distributing money from tournament play creates competitive equality without leaving schools with nothing. And that doesn't relate to this because distributing money from a bowl play also creates competitive equality without leaving schools with nothing. So therefore, the tournament system is not more economical for NCAA football than a bowl system according to this claim. And then for more games create more revenue for schools, more games also create more losses and costs for schools. And one of his evidence that he cites is how much CBS earns for advertising and advertising revenue, and that has nothing to relate to what schools make, because CBS is not a school, it's a TV network. And he also states that ratings would be higher than individual bowl games due to scheduling and overall interest. That is only a speculation, and he has no evidence. There was no evidence to support that. In addition, only a few schools, despite receiving large percentages of the winnings and significant revenue from ticket sales, are still left in the red. This is quoted from Sarah Morgan in Smart Money in her article, 10 Things NCAA Basketball Won't Tell You. So, and for his other claim, losses occur due to teams participating in bowl games. Well, losses also occur due to teams participating in college basketball tournaments. A source by Randy Chua says, how much revenue do college sports produce? It states, according to the NCAA Revenue Expense Division 1 report, the median net revenue for college football in 2010 was $3.15 million per school. Even with so many viewers nationwide, 43% of schools in this division generated negative median net revenue of $2.87 million in losses. Looking at the same football bowl division, subdivision schools, the NCAA Revenue Expense Division 1 report states that the median net generated revenue for the 2010 men's basketball season was $788,000 per school. Similar to those in football, 44% of schools in the football bowl subdivision generated negative net revenue of $975,000. For Mr. Rich Brown only quoted the first part of this quote, and he failed to mention that basketball also loses money when and so that doesn't mean that a tournament system is more economical for NCAA football than a bowl system. In addition, if you look at the statistics, the median net revenue for college football in 2010 was $3.5 million per school, and only 43% of these schools lost $2.87 million in losses. So the median gain was higher than the median loss. But when you look at these same schools at their basketball program, their gain was $788,000 per school. And 44%, which is really similar to 43%, they lost $975,000, which is greater than the $788,000. So this supports the fact that a bowl system would be much more economical than for NCAA football than a tournament system.
Well, you start off pretty well identifying the claim and what the secondary issues are, although I think you rush through all those secondary issues. And then it becomes a problem in the body of the speech when you're talking about the secondary issues. You don't use numerical signposts on them. You just kind of repeat the claims. And I think that makes it so that a lot of things start running together after that first point. You've got a lot of information here, especially data that you're going to be using for making comparisons. And typically, you're presenting the data before explaining what the claim is or the inference is that we're supposed to get from that data. I think you want to tell us what the claim is, then show us the data, then explain how that data that you just presented supports that particular claim. And I don't always get that. It's not as clear as it ought to be in most situations. The clearest place where you did do something similar to that was on the very last point, where you do go through a process of trying to say, okay, so here's what it means. That, if we look at it this way, that means that they, made more money than they lost for most of these schools, but in the basketball tournament, they actually lost more money than they made in the long run, so obviously the tournament schedule is not necessarily the positive outcome. Okay, I can follow your reasoning on that, but all the stuff in the middle, it's just like numbers that are not given any context or meaning. You may have a very valid criticism of the advocate's claim and may in fact have a better answer than I think that you've got, but it's hard to tell based on the way it's being presented. You're kind of rushing through it. You need to pace yourself, and you need to explain concepts too. An audience that understands the subject, maybe that wouldn't be a problem, but this is a more complex subject, and it's not like everybody in here is paying close attention to those numbers, so you have to do a better job of explaining them. It's also a little distracting, the baton twirling while you're giving the speech.